It finally happened. Harley-Davidson just went public with the full 2026 lineup. And for the first time in decades, riders are split down the middle. Some say it's progress. Others call it the end of an era. These new bikes bring lighter frames, digital dashboards, and global polish. But where's the grease, the grit, the character we grew up with? For those of us who've racked up miles on old iron, this moment feels personal, because behind every update and redesign is one question. Did Harley evolve or finally sell its soul? Stay with me till the end. We're finding out together. Number 7. Harley-Davidson Nightster. There is something unmistakable about the first twist of a throttle on a stripped-down American twin. The Nightster carries that feeling forward with the confidence of a bike that knows its place in history, yet refuses to live in the past. It represents a bridge between what Harley once was and what it is becoming. Where most motorcycles chase trends, this one holds its ground, offering simplicity, agility, and the kind of visceral character that reminds riders why they started riding in the first place. It is not about luxury or weight. It is about the raw connection between a rider and the road that has always defined true motorcycling. This motorcycle stands apart, not for what it adds, but for what it refuses to complicate. There is no chrome excess or towering fairing here, only steel and purpose. The compact frame and centered mass make it handle with a precision that older Harleys never attempted. Veterans of the open road might be surprised by how easy it is to lean, how responsive it feels in traffic, and how the exhaust note carries a muted growl that deepens with speed. For anyone used to heavy tourers or trikes, the Nightster feels like stepping back into youth, a reminder of lighter days when every ride meant exploration instead of maintenance schedules. Emotionally, it connects through restraint. The engine's hum is confident, but never screaming. The torque curve is linear, not explosive, and it rewards rhythm over aggression. Longtime riders appreciate that quality, a machine that respects input rather than demanding correction. There is heritage in that philosophy, a quiet echo of the Ironhead era translated into modern precision. The design nods to the original Sportsters of decades past, but the performance belongs to the present. The digital gauge, selectable ride modes, and thoughtful ergonomics show that Harley can blend tradition with technology without losing its identity. The Nightster carries the Revolution Max 975T engine with a displacement of 975 cubic centimeters. It produces 89 horsepower and 70 pound-feet of torque. The motorcycle uses a dual front and single rear disc braking system, with a standard anti-lock braking system. Its suspension consists of a single with preload adjustment. The running order, or wet weight, is 481 pounds, and the laden seat height measures 27.1 inches. For riders with decades behind them, this model rekindles the reason they fell in love with riding: the independence of movement, the solitude of an open road, and the knowledge that every vibration underfoot comes from something mechanical, not simulated. It is the kind of motorcycle that asks nothing but to be ridden often. In an age when screens and connectivity dominate, the Nightster chooses mechanical honesty instead. It proves that Harley still understands the emotional center of the ride: metal, motion, and meaning in perfect balance. The next machine on this list carries that same integrity, but aims its power at a different kind of rider, one who prefers muscle over minimalism and acceleration over restraint. Number 6. Harley-Davidson Sportster S. Every generation of riders remembers a machine that shook up what a Harley could be. The Sportster S does exactly that, rewriting the definition of a power cruiser without losing its American soul. It brings together performance, muscle, and unmistakable style in a package that feels more like a fist than a handshake. For decades, the Sportster name stood for rebellion, and this version sharpens that edge. It is the modern expression of Harley's defiance, leaner, faster, and engineered for riders who still measure thrill by throttle response instead of gadgets. The first time you swing a leg over the Sportster S, it becomes clear this is not a relic of the past. It feels immediate and alive, with a center of gravity that pulls you into the corners instead of fighting against you. The wide tires and aggressive stance look intimidating, but on the move, it feels natural, intuitive, and almost telepathic in response. It rewards calm hands and smooth throttle work, rewarding skill over bravado. For seasoned riders who came up on carburetors and solid mounts, the refinement of this engine might seem foreign, but the heartbeat is still unmistakably Harley mechanical, rhythmic, and authentic. What makes this model matter is not the raw speed, but the conversation it starts. It is proof that Harley can build modern performance without selling out its principles. The Sportster S balances torque and technology, featuring selectable ride modes, traction control, and cornering-enhanced braking. Yet, all those systems stay in the background, invisible unless needed. What dominates the ride is the feel of the road, the surge of torque from the mid-range, and the unfiltered sound of combustion meeting asphalt. Every twist of the throttle feels like a small act of rebellion against conformity, just as the original Sportsters did decades ago. The Sportster S is powered by the Revolution Max 1250T engine, with a displacement of 1252 cubic centimeters. It develops 121 horsepower and 94 pound-feet of torque. The braking system features a single radial mount, Brembo 4-piston front caliper, and a rear 2-piston floating caliper, both linked to a full anti-lock braking system. Suspension consists of an inverted 43mm front fork and a linkage-mounted monoshock with hydraulic preload adjustment. The running order weight is 502 pounds, the unladen seat height is 30.1 inches, and the motorcycle's starting price is $16,999. For riders with years behind them, the Sportster S becomes a reminder that progress and purity can coexist. It respects muscle and mechanics, but accepts evolution where it counts. It rides best when pushed, rewarding those who still chase that sensation of connection between engine pulse and heartbeat. The comfort is firm but honest, the style bold but purposeful. It is a machine for those who have seen trends come and go and still believe the only thing that matters is what happens when the light turns green. The next motorcycle on this list speaks to a different side of Harley's legacy, one that values presence and timeless strength over sleek reinvention, capturing the spirit of classic muscle in its purest form. If you're passionate about real Harley talk and the truth behind the lineup, hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Number 5. Harley-Davidson Fat Boy. There are motorcycles that make noise, and then there are motorcycles that make presence. The Fat Boy has always belonged to the latter. It is the motorcycle that made steel look elegant and mass feel graceful. Since its debut in the early 1990s, this machine has symbolized everything that defines Harley's muscle identity: wide tires, solid wheels, low stance, and a frame that looks carved from raw determination. In 2026, it carries that legacy forward, refined but not softened. The Fat Boy remains the statement piece for riders who measure confidence not in words, but in weight and torque. The Fat Boy does not hide behind technology or electronics. It is a mechanical conversation between rider and machine. Twist the throttle, and the response is instant, thick with torque from the first turn. The wide tires that once defined its silhouette now work with modern geometry to give better balance, while the aluminum disc wheels still throw reflections that look like motion even when the bike stands still. This model remains the motorcycle equivalent of a clenched fist wrapped in chrome. The comfort level sits high, the vibration low, and the rumble deep enough to be felt through the boots. Riders who prefer their motorcycles solid, planted, and powerful will find the Fat Boy familiar yet evolved. What makes this machine more than a nostalgia piece is its refusal to become something it is not. It does not chase sport performance or adventure travel. It exists for the pure joy of cruising, a straight-line statement of presence and pride. The ergonomics favor long rides with a low center of gravity that eases control at low speed and a seat shape that keeps fatigue away mile after mile. When parked, it draws crowds. When moving, it commands space. Few bikes can turn mechanical mass into poetry the way the Fat Boy does. The The Fat Boy is equipped with the Milwaukee 8 117 engine, displacing 1,917 cubic centimeters, producing 103 horsepower and 126 pound-feet of torque. The braking system uses a dual-piston front and rear disc configuration with an anti-lock braking system as standard. Suspension includes a dual-bending valve front fork and a hidden rear monoshock with hydraulic preload adjustment. The unladen seat height measures 25.9 inches. While the official site does not list weight and price for the 2026 year, dealership references place the running order weight near 700 pounds and the expected base price slightly above $20,000. This model represents the bridge between Harley's heritage and its future. Every piece of it feels deliberate, every sound tuned to speak the same language riders have known for decades. It does not need validation because it carries history in its steel. The Fat Boy endures as a monument to American muscle on two wheels. The next motorcycle on this list continues that philosophy, but trades the boulevard stance for the open highway, built for distance, dignity, and the timeless call of the long road. If you're serious about riding, check the links below. I've listed the gear and accessories I actually trust out on the road. Number 4. Harley-Davidson Street Glide. Few motorcycles carry the weight of an entire culture the way the Street Glide does. It has been the benchmark of American touring for decades, the one machine that unites long-distance comfort with unmistakable character. For riders who have spent years chasing sunsets and highway miles, this motorcycle is a familiar silhouette in every rearview mirror, a moving symbol of the open road. In 2026, the Street Glide stands taller than ever, blending its historic touring DNA with new engineering and a design that honors every mile of heritage behind it. It remains the road king in spirit, designed for those who live their stories between gas stops and horizon lines. From the moment the ignition hums to life, the Street Glide feels deliberate. It idles with authority, steady and composed, ready to carry its rider through states, seasons, and stories. The wide batwing fairing defines its face, sheltering the rider from crosswinds, while still letting in the soundtrack of the road. The updated Skyline operating system spreads across a 12.3-inch touchscreen, giving navigation, communication, and audio without stealing the show. Everything about this bike feels mature engineered for those who have ridden long enough to know that comfort is not luxury, it is endurance. The seat cushions you into, the frame, the bars fall naturally into reach, and the power delivery remains smooth, muscular, and constant. This model's soul is in its stability. You can cruise at highway speed for hours without fatigue, then glide through small towns where chrome reflections tell stories of every journey before yours. The air management around the fairing has been improved, and even the adjustable deflectors below it let riders shape airflow to suit changing conditions. It is built for the long haul, not for thrills that fade at the next stoplight. For riders who prefer steady rhythm over bursts of adrenaline, the Street Glide remains the trusted companion. The Street Glide runs on the Milwaukee 8 117 engine with a displacement of 1,923 cubic centimeters and delivers 105 horsepower along with 130 pound-feet of torque. The braking system includes dual front discs with 4 piston calipers and a single rear disc, all managed through a standard anti-lock braking system. Suspension features a dual bending valve front fork, paired with premium rear shocks, offering hydraulic preload adjustment. The laden seat height is 26.4 inches. Yet, despite its refinement, it never forgets rebellion. It still has that heavy-throated exhaust note, the unmistakable Harley pulse that announces its arrival. The balance between luxury and attitude has never been sharper. In an era where touring bikes are often overloaded with features, this one feels like a return to pure purpose, the joy of endless road under steady hands. The Street Glide stands as proof that Harley can evolve without losing its soul. The next machine on this list keeps that promise alive, but trades the fairing and infotainment for chrome memories and timeless nostalgia, carrying the heart of the classic cruiser into the modern world. Number 3. Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic. Some motorcycles define eras. Others outlive them. The Heritage Classic belongs firmly to the second group. It carries the weight of memory and the craftsmanship of decades, while quietly adapting to the demands of the present. Among Harley's 2026 lineup, this model stands as the bridge between generations, the bike that still looks like a Harley should, yet rides like the modern machines that follow it. It does not shout its legacy. It wears it like a badge, reminding riders that the open road is timeless, and that comfort and soul can still coexist in a single machine built for the long haul. Riding the Heritage Classic feels like shaking hands with an old friend. The moment you settle into its saddle, there is familiarity. The low rumble beneath you, the easy reach to the bars, and the slow, deliberate roll of torque that makes every start feel ceremonial. Yet beneath its nostalgic form, this motorcycle is a modern touring platform built for comfort and reliability. The ride feels controlled and composed, the throttle, response smooth, and the stability unmatched in its class. For riders who have logged hundreds of miles behind wide bars and windshields, this is a reminder that old-school style can still deliver new-school refinement. The Heritage Classic's design is a deliberate act of respect. The studded leather saddlebags, chrome accents, and detachable windscreen evoke the golden years of American touring. The light assembly gleams like a memory of Route 66, while the steel fenders trace lines that could have rolled straight out of the 1950s. Yet, the electronics ride modes, cruise control, and cornering traction systems speak to progress. Harley has given this model just enough technology to enhance the experience without watering down its authenticity. It is not about screens or menus. It is about the feel of the road under your boots and the pulse of the engine through your hands. The Heritage Classic continues with the Milwaukee 8 117 engine producing approximately 115 pound-feet of torque from 1,917 cubic centimeters. The braking system employs single front and rear discs, each controlled by a 4-piston caliper with a full anti-lock braking system. Suspension consists of a 43mm single cartridge inverted telescopic front fork and a hidden free-piston coilover monoshock rear unit with hydraulic preload adjustability. The unladen seat height is 27.2 inches. There is poetry in how this motorcycle rides. At 70 miles per hour, the world quiets to a rhythm of exhaust, wind, and heartbeat. It reminds riders that travel is not about speed. It is about connection. The Heritage Classic exists for those who remember when touring meant discovery, when bikes were built from pride instead of algorithms. It brings the past forward without apology and gives it new breath for the modern highway. The next motorcycle on this list takes that same devotion to heritage, but aims it toward adventure, showing that Harley's vision of freedom can stretch far beyond the paved horizon. Stay tuned for more Harley revelations and industry breakdowns. Subscribe now so you never miss the next deep dive. Number 2. Harley-Davidson Pan America 1250 ST. Adventure is not a word often tied to Harley's past, yet the Pan America changed that forever. It is the first Harley that dared to look beyond the white lines of pavement and into the dirt, gravel, and wilderness that most riders only dream about. For riders who spent decades chasing highway miles, this motorcycle opened new horizons, places where the map ends and instinct takes over. In 2026, the Pan America 1250 Saint takes that spirit and sharpens it, proving that a motorcycle can be both rugged and refined, both built for endurance and designed for discovery. It stands as proof that Harley can evolve without losing the soul that made it legendary. The Pan America 1250 ST rides like no other Harley ever built. It carries the heart of a cruiser, but the soul and stance of a true explorer. On the open highway, it hums with quiet confidence, delivering smooth acceleration, balanced power delivery, and steady throttle control that rivals the finest long-distance tourers. Once the pavement ends, the advanced suspension transforms seamlessly, lowering for balance at stops and rising when rugged trails demand clearance. Its adaptive ride height system redefines versatility, making this machine uniquely welcoming to riders of every size and experience level, allowing them to plant both boots firmly before taking off again. Every mile feels composed, powerful, and assured. This is Harley's bold answer to decades of adventure dominance by foreign manufacturers, and it does not whisper that answer. It roars it with American authority and pride. From its aluminum frame to its upright ergonomics, every inch of the Pan America 1250 Saint was built for real-world endurance. It carries weather protection without bulk and technology without distraction. The touchscreen display offers navigation and terrain modes, yet it never pulls focus from the physical act of riding. The engine's cooling system keeps temperatures stable even in desert heat, and its torque-rich nature means climbing steep grades or carrying luggage never feels like strain. The exhaust tone stays deep, a reminder that despite its purpose, it remains a Harley at heart. The Pan America ST carries the Revolution Max 1250 engine with a displacement of 1252 cubic centimeter. It produces 150 horsepower and 94 pound-feet of torque. The braking system includes Brembo radial-mounted 4-piston monoblock front calipers and a single rear floating caliper, both with an anti-lock braking system. Suspension employs Showa fully adjustable units with adaptive ride height functionality. The unladen seat height measures approximately 32.5 inches, and the running order weight is 540 pounds. This model's importance runs deeper than sales or specs. It represents Harley's acknowledgement that the road never truly ends, that freedom extends far beyond asphalt. It shows riders that the company still listens, still innovates, and still believes in adventure as a way of life. For the rider who once swore that no Harley would ever see the dirt, this machine proves otherwise with confidence and grit. The next and final motorcycle on this list captures that same strength, but distills it back to pure muscle, an unfiltered symbol of American power forged in chrome and attitude. Number 1. Harley-Davidson Breakout. Few motorcycles capture the essence of raw American power like the Breakout. It is not built to blend in or to whisper down the highway. It is built to be seen, to be heard, and to remind the world that performance is still something you can feel in your chest. In a lineup filled with high technology and modern touring comfort, this machine stands as a pure statement of attitude, long, low, muscular, and unmistakably Harley. The Breakout is not for everyone, but that has always been the point. It is for those who ride to make a presence, not a compromise. The Breakout is all about presence. Its stretched frame and 45-degree rake give it a long stance that feels like it was carved from steel and confidence. The wide rear, tire-massive, and unapologetic anchors the bike visually and mechanically, translating torque into asphalt authority. The handlebars reach forward just enough to demand posture, and the foot controls stretch the rider into a commanding position. Every inch of this motorcycle is a tribute to the idea that chrome and muscle are not relics. They are reminders of why people fall in love with motorcycles in the first place. On the open road, the Breakout rides with a sense of controlled aggression that borders on poetry in motion. The throttle response is instant, the surge of torque immediate, and the vibration perfectly tuned to feel alive without ever punishing the rider. Every pulse through the bars reminds you, this is no synthetic machine. It breathes, growls, and moves with purpose. It is not about cornering precision or wind protection. It is about the raw thrill of open air, the rumble beneath you, and the strength of a motorcycle that feels connected to the ground like a living thing. The Milwaukee 8 117 engine pushes forward with effortless confidence, delivering that deep, unmistakable rumble only Harley can craft. Every gear shift feels deliberate, every rev a reminder that this motorcycle carries the last word in mechanical honesty, muscle, and the enduring freedom of pure American engineering. So there you have it, Harley's 2026 lineup, a mix of old soul and new ambition. Some of these bikes hit the mark. Others might have drifted a little too far from the road that built them. But one thing's for sure, the conversation isn't over. I want to hear from real riders. What do you think? Did Harley save its spirit or sell it to the suits? Drop your thoughts down below. And if you love honest breakdowns made by riders for riders, hit that like, tap subscribe, and keep the throttle twisted till next time.